Hello everyone, it's DuckFairy07. Today we are playing my Zoo Dragons Brew. I'm very happy and excited about this one. So let's see what's going on in here. Invasion of Tarkir. So I once had a big hopes for this card in Zoo. I was still thinking about this card whenever some changes happen in the Zoo builds. And yeah, this time I paired this Invasion of Tarkir. The invasions are very good in the Zoo decks because it's so easy to flip them. So they're all like or 4 or 5 toughness, let's say, and one attack from Kavu, Brawler, Scion, uh, whatever, like Tribal Flames. Usually it's enough to flip it, and once they flip, they're mostly very um, hard to beat and very powerful. So it's also this one is very good. So Invasion of Tarkir is good in the front side, and also the back side is broken. So in the front side we have 8 dragons in this build. We have 4 Scions of Draco and 4 Moonveil Regents. So this card is brutal with Leyline of the Guildpact. Actually, we'll see few funny situations with it in this video. So it says whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. So with Leyline of the Guildpact, you draw 5. And Zoo is well known for having like 1 or 0 cards in hand in the late game. So you will often value the regent very much in the games that go long. So even if you just cast this card often and it immediately dies, it mostly does something, as you will often have other spells on the field. So it will mostly do like 1, 2, or 3 damage to something, and you will be able to kill another permanent for free. And if you have Leyline of the Guildpact on the field, if they kill this guy, they take like 5 damage mostly to face. And when you play this in a deck with 12 burn spells like Tribal Flames, Invasion of Tarkir, and Lightning Bolt, that can be very powerful and lock the opponent out of options. So yeah, this guy does incredibly good in this deck, in this brew, and I was really excited just how well did it fit in. And it might be, besides Scion of Draco, Leyline Binding, one of the best cards to pair with Leyline of the Guildpact. It's like just extremely works well with this, extremely synergistic with this card. It is a 4 mana, which is a lot, but there are a lot of slow mid-range decks at the moment trying to utilize Leyline or have a game against Leyline with valuable game plans and a lot of early interaction against this strategy. So having this guy Moonveil Regent can be extremely good in those mid and late games. It does a lot. Okay, so also if you notice, a lot of spells in this deck are red. So huge number of red spells. To accommodate this, I had to change a mana base. So we have 13 fetches. I trimmed 1 strand, added 2 Arid Mesas because I was adding some more red shocks. So having Flooded Strand missing the Stomping Ground was not ideal. So I trimmed this a bit to add 2 Arid Mesas and also added 1 Survey Lens. This deck plays more lands than a regular Zoo, 22 here. So there's a bit more space to add this land to deck, and this land has been extremely important in this build, which is a bit more mid-range-ish. And yeah, so but I'm very happy, and it was so good. I'm actually thinking about adding this one to other Zoo builds, but I think Elegant Parlor is the best option for a surveil land in Zoo style decks. Okay, so uh, obviously, depending what build, what brew, whatever, but Elegant Parlor is very strong option because of the fetch choices partially, and because you play Leyline Binding, of course, and some cyber cards are mostly white too. Okay, but here it is. In the 2 flex slots, I have 2 Intis because of the ley lines, I want to have additional way to discard them. Also a way to discard Moonveil regions in some games when you're stuck with mana or whatever. So Territorial Kavu and Inti take care of that mostly very well. On the sideboard, no place for stubborn denials in the main. I want to have a solid, strong plan against Rhinos postboard, and we definitely have it. So most of the sideboard is dedicated to it, but also very well, I think, fit between hating also the living end, but also all the cards are versatile enough that can be used in other matchups like Hiretsugu is great against Hammer, same goes for explosives. Stubborn Denial is just useful against huge number of decks, like you get to use this very, very often. Tira Sanders also like extremely useful, versatile artifact enchantment hate, which takes care of anything. Teferi also pseudo like the ultimate cascade hate, which also goes in against a lot of decks. So a lot of useful cards on the sideboard, and we still get to keep the Giganta as in the classic zoo list. So yeah, let's go. Oh, this list performed very, very well too, and I've been very happy with the various domain style zooish builds lately. So let's go check this one. So started with Leyline, Scion of Draco in hand. Obviously very powerful start. I have 22 lands in this build. Also turn 1 Ragavan, so definitely keeping this one. Opponent is playing Mill. No removal for Ragavan. I get to connect, play the Scion. I have a huge number of damage. Next turn, opponent immediately concedes to Scion plus Leyline. Time to check out game 2. This Leyline combo is just silly a lot of times. Okay, so keeping weaker hands in game 2. But I top deck Territorial Kavu. I have some interaction. This is like decent hand. Opponent goes for the Ruin Crab. So I decide to use the Leyline Binding on it, since I have two. Also, is keeping Tribal Flames to try to finish off the opponent. Going for a Kavu, surveilling, and yeah, opponent is again in a bad situation. Seems like they don't have much, and they concede this one quickly. Let's check out match 2. Okay, so Invasion of Tarkir will often in this deck be able to deal like at least 3 damage. Since you have 4 Scion of Dracos, 4 Moonveil Regents, that's 8 dragons. That is a lot. That's like really high chance of having a dragon in your hand when you want to cast this. Also, like a Bolt has been very mediocre lately, and not a lot of targets. Okay, so here I go for Invasion of Tarkir first. I can Bolt has been mediocre in a large number of matchups, and Invasion of Tarkir does often does a better job as additional burn removal spell. Okay, so I go for Invasion again. I reveal one Scion to kill, be sure to kill a Channeler, then play my land tapped and pass the turn. So next turn I can go for double Scion, kind of play around them having one counter spell. Opponent now exiles the Murktide and plays the Murktide, which is no problem for Zoo. Have multiple ways to deal with this. So I decide to use the Tribal Flames here to kill the Murktide, play the Scion, and I'm just in a very good situation right now. My opponent does have like 4 cards in hand, but all my cards are very impactful. Also have Giganta there. Opponent finds heat to kill one of my Scions. Yeah, but I have plenty of interaction. I actually tapped wrong here. I don't have a double, but that's okay. I can use it on my turn, so not a big deal. Opponent goes for a Murktide. I decide to play around the Spell Pierce. So I go for the Leyline Binding on my turn. I start attacking with Scion and decide to, since they seem like they don't have a removal, I decide to flip this Invasion of Tarkir immediately. Okay, so I go for the Leyline first. I was more focused on like resolving Kavu here. Yeah, unfortunately, they trade with my Tarkir with Murktide, and now we are both on 0 cards. And I have Giganta, which is like considerable advantage here. People mostly say like, why do you play Giganta? If you can play it, you definitely want to play it. It's incredibly good. It's relevant in more games than you think. And here, yeah, I played the Survey land, put another land on bottom, flip my what is it called when it's flipped to Thundermaw, and I hold the bolt here. They must attack with the channeler, so I get to kill it for free, and I still have enough damage to finish game next turn. So when this guy attacks, I decided to bolt so I can dash Ragavan. So I bolt here. My opponent concedes. That is the game. Yeah. Let's check out game 2. Let's also check out the sideboarding plan. So I decided to train one flames, one Kavu. So no forest in this variant, so I don't use Tier Sunders. I just use the Leyline as my out and both Leylines as my out to the Blood Moon. And as you can see here, I play a lot of the red spells, so I have stuff to do under the moon. So I'm okay with it. I play Inti here. I also have Kavu. My opponent kills Inti. That is fine, but they have two Moonveil regions and Ragavan to deal with. I should have maybe discarded the Scion here, but I wanted to like attack their graveyard so they can play a large Murktide. This time I used the discard. Probably should have used last turn too, but yeah, here I uh, I also tapped wrong. I should have left the red mana untapped so I can also play the Ragavan. Okay, here my opponent plays Subtlety on my Regent. I put it on top. It's like extremely good card right now. So they stay back hoping to block the Regent here, but they didn't read it well. They double block here, but I still get to kill both of their guys because they didn't see the Regent has ability to deal 2 damage when it dies because I have Territorial Kavu on the field. Now they have counterspell for the second Regent, but I resolve Ragavan. Ragavan is also a great card at this point. Opponent finds a Murktide, and yeah, now they have a series of good top decks. Murktide into Expressive Iteration, also Murktide is 6/6. They kill my Ragavan, and now they can safely attack. It is still not game over. I still have a good game here. I go for dash first, discard my Scion with Kavu, trying to find Leyline Binding, obviously. Yeah, maybe this game would be different if I just discarded the Scion of Draco that first time I attacked with Kavu. I play their channeler, so it's kind of a free block for a turn. So it buys me a turn against them. So right now, opponent stays back for this turn, and I play Giganta. Opponent is also low on life, but they find a subtlety which seals the game here. So it's over for me. Let's check out game 3. Okay, no changes for game 3. Trimming one flames, one Kavu. Because they often bring in like tribal flames. That is the only, sorry, the dress down. That is the only reason why I trim one Kavu. Trimming one tribal flames because of the blood moon. Okay, I have my basic here. I have binding. I have ways to play around moon. So I just go for Giganta here, holding a bunch of removal in hand. I definitely want to kill a Ragavan here, so I start off with the Tribal Flames. Opponent counters, so I definitely want to use this bolt. Maybe this was a bad decision. I maybe should have played the Zagoth Triome there. I probably should have played the Zagoth Triome, actually. So, okay. I played the Triumph tapped and resolve my Leyline. So next, now I have a Scion of Draco. If my opponent doesn't have a solution for it, then it is probably a game over. That's why I decided to use. I should have done this differently, like leave the white mana. I was also like. Just F6, so I didn't even get to respond with binding to this binding. They had a hibernation there and also resolved Murktide then on their turn. So they're attacking me for 2 here. I also shocked in for nothing. Yeah, so now I didn't have a mana for all. I could have played like binding at the end of their turn to for Murktide, and now I had. Now I had to play Leyline plus Scion. My opponent can deal with this and put me on 3 life, which is a bit hard. But yeah, here I play Giganta, play my land tapped, and I can't double spell on their turn because I'll trigger the Shredder, and I just must hope they can't double spell get the counter on Shredder. So I'm survive on 1 life, but that's mostly because I only just, and this is like really funny. This is like huge. I get, yeah, also, I get to draw 5 cards. This is so funny. And also I get to, yeah, also the another funny thing is I thought like this was asking me if I want to deal a damage. And then I clicked yes. Yeah, this was a big fail. This was a big fail. Yeah, I had a certain kill next turn with this hand, but I accidentally clicked yes here and I discard my entire hand. Yeah, this was like really, really bad. And yeah, but I get to dash a Ragavan still, it's fine. I get still there preordain and to find the tribal flames. So I'm still good. Like I'm on 1, so dashing a Ragavan here, my opponent only 1 card in hand. This is mostly because of my um, misplay. They will already be dead if I played it better. But yeah, I gave them another turn to top deck something, but they didn't. And yeah, that was it. Okay, so that was win in match 2. Let's check out match 3. But that draw 5 with Leyline there and Moonveil Regent is just so funny. Also, it is even funnier because I was able to do it on the same turn because I had Giganta on the field. Yeah, that was a good survival. Okay, so the game is so much easier with Leyline against Burn. This is just ridiculous. I kind of won this game against Burn basically on 20 life. They didn't deal a single damage. Okay, so here I'm attacking with Kavu, looting cards I don't like, playing another Kavu and a binding. So I don't even care about this guide, it's only there to jump block. So end of turn I go remove the guide and I have lethal, 2 Kavus plus 2 Tribal Flames. And that is like classic turn 4 win with Kavu and Tribal Flames for Zoo. Basically won this on 70 life. Ridiculous. Okay, so Let's check out game 2. I keep a very bad hand actually. Against burn, Moonveil Regents are obviously too expensive, like 4 mana, they don't gain life, so I don't want them. I keep medium hand here. Have because I had Kavu. Kavu does a good job dealing with your hand against the burn, and I had a 1 mana spell here. Yeah, unfortunately, they played like Tunnel Ingus here, so I didn't expect that tech. So I was not able to jam a Kavu turn before. So I'm already on 10 here, and I don't have, as you remember, I don't have a forest in this build, so I can't really afford to play, to shock in to play Kavu. Opponent has a Pet to Exile for Kavu there, and finish me off on the same turn, so that is like easy win for them. They were on the play, and my hand was really, really medium to bad, so okay. I mulligan to 6 this time. Nothing crazy, just a keepable hand. I have double Ragavan, so even if they kill one, I still get to play a second one. I save a lot of life with these Ragavans and Kavus. They mostly, if they can kill a Ragavan, they will mostly kill it. So using their spells to kill Ragavan is, I'm okay with that because they are not going face. And here my opponent has Sanctifier and Vec, which complicates situation a bit, but I have Inti here, which is great. In this situation, also great with Kavu, exiling cards, giving Kavu trample, and I exiled Tribal Flames, but I decided to use Territorial Kavu instead. Kavu is so good with Inti, just for free, drawing you cards and giving trample to Kavu, really relevant. So I went for 2 Kavu discard draws here, which exiles me 2 cards with Inti ability, also putting card counters on Kavu, enabling me to try to kill my opponent sooner. And here they go for Path to Exile, so I don't do trample damage. I find a place, I can't triple spell, but I kill Misty, I kill Cispir and play the Ragavan there. Opponent goes for 2 with Sanctifier, and I'm definitely in a bad situation. Maybe I should have just cycled this cow here, try to find interaction like Stubborn Denial. You will see like my sideboarding plan here is obviously bring in all the Stubborn Denials. It is the best card, best sideboard card in this matchups. Just cleanly remove the Moonveil regions for it. So, okay. That was it. That was sorry. Um, That was match 3. Let's check out the match 4. That were all the games against Burn. Burn got much easier for Zoo with the new Leyline. Just it's incredibly strong against Burn. If you can start with Leyline plus Scion, they can't do anything about it. At any point, if you just even hardcast the Leyline with Scion on the field, it's again just a game over. So very strong card, very bad for Burn. So in a match 4, I was playing against Yagmoth, also another very popular deck right now, and Invasion of Tarkir, I must say, is just incredible against this deck. It's not just in this match when they're mana screwed, but this they don't have a creature removal, and once you flip this guy and all your Scions of Dracos, the Thundermouse, and the Regents deal 2 to any target when they attack, it's just unstoppable. You also have Bindings and Flames to deal with Yagmoth, but the Thundermouse, when you flip it, it's they just can't deal with it. It's too strong. So also like the Regent is another powerful threat against them that's hard for them to answer. All the flyers, big flyers are definitely problem for Yagmoth. So yeah, I think this build is like super good against Yagmoth. Not to mention that you still have access to Leyline plus Scion, which is crazy. Okay, so keeping a decent hander, bunch of 2 drops, no interaction, but definitely keepable if opponent doesn't have a crazy hand. Yeah, the drawing Leyline from the top as your first draw, it's always the worst, but you have Territorial Kavu and Inti in your hand to discard it, so also Scion is there, so you maybe also don't even want to discard it. Always start with Kavu if you can. Kavu is such a good start. Um, Also, you're letting your opponent kill it first, so that's also uh, something to think of. Okay, so here I bolt the grist, surveil the top of my library, put another land in the graveyard. This feels so good, and getting the good top deck from the top, this is so great. Then going in with Inti, playing Ragavan, putting Giganta to hand, making Inti bigger and bigger, making it really relevant. Making it so good that actually opponent prioritizes killing Inti here instead of Kavu. So yeah, now I have a binding, but I really want to save it for I really want to save it for Yagmoth if they get Yagmoth. So I just want to kill the Grist with the trample damage from the Kavu. Also do the discard, draw ability, trigger Inti twice. Feels great. Okay, so exile the bolt and the flames, kill the grist. I could go face with this, but I just decide to attack their board, to kill the walls. And yeah, now opponent is like in an extremely bad situation. I go for a Scion too, and still have binding, and still have Inti Kavu doing a lot of card advantage. And yeah, that is it. Opponent concedes, and that's another quick win against Yagmoth. So let's check out the final game for the trophy. I was playing against a fellow zoo player on playing a classic domain zoo list with ley lines, of course. Okay, so I was playing second, which is always a tough spot in the mirror. It's not exactly mirror, but it's pretty close. Okay, opponent starts off with a breeding pool, plays Nishoba Brawler. I want to save as much life as possible. I have multiple ley lines, so I start with Leyline Binding. And Kavu, now I can play Binding on their Kavu, plus play my Kavu as a blocker for Nakatal. Very good position for me. Opponent has Binding there too, and Dash Ragavan. And I get to play 2 of my creatures, staying on 10 life. And they need 2 removal there to be able to attack again, but they get it. So they put me down to 7. And have some board advantage. Okay, I was able to play the Regent there, but then kind of open to getting 3 damage again. Okay, so this way I decide to. I was expecting them to dash Ragavan there and decide to take 3 damage and put my cow on the field again. So now I dash Ragavan again, cycle the land, and now I have 4 mana. I can play a Regent or their Scion exile, but I want to play a Regent here. I have 3 mana different mana on the field. So even if they kill my regent, like with flames, I get to kill the Nakatal. So they needed exactly flames to finish game here, and they would use it before on Kavu probably if they had it. So that is the win in game 1, and it was a good start. So I only needed 1 more win for a trophy, but didn't get there. So let's check out the matches. Actually, this match 2 had incredibly good start. Like turn 1, Leyline plus Ragavan. Also, I have Binding. Opponent starts off with Nekatel. I could they were first though, so they had a considerable advantage there. I decide to go for a Leyline Binding turn one. Maybe this was not a good decision. I think, yeah, in retrospective, this was not a good decision. Should have used like a binding on creatures. They played aggressively there, and it paid off for them since they had a burn spell to finish things off. Yeah, it was, yeah, very important here. So I probably should have risked them having a Scion or whatever. Probably should have just holded the binding. I think that was a better way for me to win this game. So actually, my opponent played good in this one, and I didn't play optimally. So this game could have been maybe different if I didn't use the Leyline on turn one, or if I used it on a Cuttle. This Nekatel ended up doing a lot of damage and winning the game because when paired with flames, it's a very powerful tool. This Nekatel. So it was time for game 3. Now I was playing first, and I kept a pretty mediocre hand. But the I had these were my only two sideboard cards, and these two sideboard cards can be pretty good. As you can see, I just streamed on Regent and Tarkir a bit for these two cards. So I found both of my sideboard cards. That was the reason why I kept this hand. Also, turn 2 removal and turn 3 Teferi when you're playing first is just a very good. I should have probably just played the fairy first here to bounce Scion, and then next turn, Tear Asunder. Yeah, that was I think, yeah, probably the mistake. Okay, so opponent goes bolt here, dashes Ragavan to kill to finish the fairy, and I play a Scion, a fetch, and lose 3 life to put Giganta hand. I think this was a good decision. Then opponent plays Nekatel, dashes Ragavan again. I go for Giganta and Binding there. And again, I need to shock in, but it is fine. I get to live on 6 life, so I survive the Tribal Flames. I also get to bring back my Scion of Draco, kill their Wild Nekatel, and now they use the hardcast the Ragavan, which is great for me since I can just um, kill it with Tarkir. And yeah, now we are in a kind of a top deck war at the moment. Opponent finds a Territorial Kavu, which is very good for them. I suspect them having burn spell in hand. I didn't know which one, but I know I can't let the damage through. I already top decked one land. I have 6 of them on the field, bunch of fetches in the graveyard. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lands are already out. So this means only 8 of them left in my deck. I have close to lethal, but opponent uses the Tribal Flames there, and they survive on 3, find Leyline Binding to get back their Kavu. I don't know if they top decked the Flames with Kavu ability or they had another one in hand, but they have another Flames in hand, another burn spell to finish things off here, and yet another land from top was not good enough, and yet they survived on 3, so that was another loss in last match for a trophy for a zoo style leagues, but all of these lists performed very well for me. This was the only league I played with this deck so far. I don't have much playing time at the moment, so I didn't play much with them, but I think both this list and the blue zoo list from yesterday are very well positioned right now. really strong decks that can do well and are also like really fun to play. The Moonveil Regent, incredibly fun card. 4 mana, 4/4 flyer. When it dies, it does something. When you cast something, it's also because you mostly have like 0 to 1 cards in hand, and when you cast Kavu, you draw 2. You can always like draw this card with Ragavan, Bolt, whatever. If you have a Regent on the field, and also if you have Inti on the field, also there is a small synergy there. Exiling a card every time you use the Regent ability, which is pretty sweet too. So a lot of synergies in this deck, all lining up very well. I'm very happy with this build. And yeah, mostly sideboards are turned around Cascade decks at the moment. Living End and Rhinos, very popular. Some Artifact Enchantment hate. That's it. Kind of very easy to build sideboards at the moment for this meta. And I also must say that I really like the mana base for this build. I was really happy having this Survey Land, and but to avoid questions about mana base, I will answer it right now. I would not play Stomping Ground in the regular zoo mana base. Reason I played here because as you can see here, there is a bunch of red spells, so many red spells in this build, and you need extra red mana, and you also have a luxury of playing more lands in this build than the regular zoo plays. I'm currently on 20 in my regular zoo build, and Stomping Ground is just a land you play additionally here to have a bit more access to red mana. Also, another red land is a new survey land. Very good. I was very happy with it. If you have space and playing domain zoo style decks with more land like a Cascade, whatever, I would definitely recommend playing this one. It was very relevant, doing important things, getting rid of flood, helping with flood sometimes, and yeah. Okay, so that is it. Um, Thank you for watching. A friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. Tell me how do you like Moonveil Regent synergy with Leyline. Do you feel that is modern playable? I feel like it can be very good. Having additional dragons with Invasion of Tarkir, which works very well in this build. The Thundermaw can be really strong against creature matchups, also against Yawgmoth, but also just a 4/4 flyer that does something, synergizes with the rest of your deck, is just also very strong, which is also a removal. So a lot of cool stuff about this card, and if you can utilize it like in this build, I think it's a very powerful piece to play. And okay, so Regent by itself, it's not very good, but it can be really crazy with Leyline. On few occasions, I dealt 5 damage to my opponents with it, and also you could see on one occasion here drawing me 5 cards, which is like really crazy. And that's it. So thank you for watching again. That is it for today. Goodbye.